Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going tonight? Let's see what we got up in here. Got Don Parsons. Whoops. That not, oh, he retracted his message. Well, he might still be here anyways. Peekaboo, what's up? Pudgy's in here. If you're in the Discord, as he says, today was dumb. He cut his hand open. And I've been avoiding the photos, but he did post some. So they're in the stream updates if you want to see it, but don't click there if you don't. So, Cycling Brian, how's it going? Michigan Biker, sipping on a single malt bourbon, shopping salsa frames right now. Oh, that sounds like a dangerous combination. When I think it was when Amazon first came out. I don't know when not probably when they first came out, but it's when we were working third shift at Boston Mills.
Yeah.
There was a couple nights, well, there were mornings where I'd come because we worked third shift.
Dylan Casson became a member. Dylan Casson celebrates 43 months of membership _VGNO.
What's up, Dylan? Right. So yeah, sometimes I would drink a couple beers in the morning because we worked till what? Did we work till 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I remember like discovering Amazon and like a week later, like some CDs would show up in the mail, and I was like, oh, what's this? Oh, I ordered Depressing Mazzy Star CDs. Thanks, Dylan, for the 43 months. What's up, Michael Stark? Yeah, it started reading those out loud. I don't, and that's the way it words it. But I'm glad it reads the members' chats out loud. But yeah, I don't know why it says it like that. Yeah. PW? Yeah. Someone's wallet is about to get the fitness test drink in that single malt we'll shop in. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really remember, but I don't think they sold because I mean, what they started as a book company and then they moved into music. I think at that time it was still just those two things. I don't think you could get anything else yet. I'd have to read the Wikipedia entry to remember that for sure. But what year would that would have been the winter of 2007? I think.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Give or take.
Sometimes you know stuff.
Yeah.
I do. That's the great thing about Flickr is after a certain point, I have all my memories.
Yeah.
Whenever I bought my first, the Canon Rebel, I could look everything like that up, and I know there's Boston Mill photos. Boston Mill. The singular Boston Mill. Now I'm curious, not that anyone else cares. Here's Dave testing the snow gun. You've got your sleeve out to see if it's freezing enough,
Classic.
turning into snow, or if you're just getting wet. That's how
Probably just getting wet.
we had all kinds of temperature and a weather station thing, but the best way to test a snow gun was to uh, go underneath one and stick your arm out and see if it was snow or not. You know, can't beat that. So what year? February 4th, 2008. So yeah, winter of 2007 and 2008. So I was pretty proud of the moguls that we got established out there.
You got any of Andy?
I think they're all me and you. I don't think I had. I think I started bringing my camera because I bought new lenses finally.
So I don't remember you with the camera that far back.
Yeah. Yeah, because that winter I bought Pocket Wizards with the money we saved, and that's when I started to learn how to do off-camera flash. So it would have been that winter. Because even in that one, this one, you can see I'm trying to bounce the flash with the lighting outside. I popped the flash off. This is when I started to like understand what more technical photography looked like. March 3rd, that was one
What
of
the hell
them.
is that noise?
There's installed a compressor next door or something. I don't know, but it's like
That's probably a compressor. Yeah.
it's waking Mark up and stuff, and I need to talk to Bell to get them to do something about that. But, anyways, we're just enjoying a trip down memory lane. Tim's Drunk Mazzy Star CDs really jump-started Uncle Jeff's operation. I think they sold used CDs too, which was what was cool about it. So everything I was getting was cheap, you know.
You
Yeah.
thinking of eBay?
No, I think Amazon was early on. They were trying to compete with eBay, and they were selling stuff used. Used? Is that what you call CDs? That used CDs? Is that the right term?
What else would it be?
Yeah. Pre-owned.
Pre-played?
Pre-played. Okay, Don, you said I'm here. I'm building a coffee vaccaccino to take into the chat. Just got back from riding the tops of the mountains in British Columbia. Oh, nice. That's why I saw your original comment said that it was cold up there. Yep, yeah, I've never been to BC either, which I would love to. The fuck all that cocaine doing on the hillside? What's up, Patty? Oh yeah, Eric, the vice presidential debate is on. I almost already went off. I'm gonna stop myself. Yeah, will there even be one question about why are we sending billions of dollars overseas when we have absolute disaster areas here in the United States? 'Cause it won't matter because both parties say the same thing. Fuck them both. Anyways. Where was I? We were talking about Amazon. Now what a nightmare that turned out to be too, huh? PW, it depends on what you're doing. So if you're not doing a ton of off-road, I would start with what you already have, which is what I assume you already have, which is one of these. It's the best way to start. I mean, but if you're doing like off-road stuff, the form factor of a phone and the price of these things is not something I would want to drop, and they're not very handy. They shoot better quality video than most things, though, so especially the iPhone, but they're all good now. But so if you're just riding mostly on bike paths and pavements, I would start by shooting with this. But after that, it's either the GoPro or the DJI. What are the DJI called theirs? They just came out with their new one. Osmo? Yeah, DJI Osmos? I don't know. But yeah, GoPro or DJI, just because the form factor makes them easy to carry, easy to mount everywhere. And if you drop them, they don't break generally. But also, even if they did, they only cost like a third or a quarter of what a high-end smartphone costs. So yeah, that would be my advice. Almost all my videos are shot with GoPros, and the thing I like about the GoPro is it has the 8x7 format, so it's a little more square. So if you're going to just be posting stuff to social media, you could pull like a nice vertical file out of it without having to turn the camera sideways. But Peekaboo said I was in the Okanagan Valley of BC for 6 weeks in the summer of '99. Beautiful place. Doing a lot of road riding. Yeah, I mean, I would just start filming with your phone. And for editing software, I would use what I don't even pay attention, just because I've had all the Adobe stuff for so long, but there's no reason to pay for that just to start out. DaVinci Resolve is free, but I mean, there's all kinds of free apps. What are cheap apps? What maybe other people have a better idea because I just don't look at them. But CapCut and
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Just Adobe.
Yeah, I do it for a living, so I pay for the pro stuff, but it's not necessary. It's definitely not necessary.
The Adobe stuff isn't that bad. They get you with that all app
Yeah,
thing.
if you
the
get into
creative
visual apps,
suite.
it's not that bad. Yeah. Yeah, the problem is
And pay yearly. Pay for the year. Don't do the monthly.
Yeah. Mine bills me monthly, but my commitment is yearly, so it gives me that discount, whatever. They just got sued for that, by the way.
Really?
Because people are paying monthly and believe they're monthly, but they signed up for the price of a year, and if you cancel, it charges you for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And so,
You gotta read the fine print.
yeah. Yeah. Adobe's marketing and business side is so different than their creative side. I watched a really good interview with Petapixel on their podcast, and it's like everyone like hates on so much of Adobe, and it's like it's not the people who are creating the products. But that's like so many things. I feel like Canon's a lot like that. I feel like sometimes their management is like, no, take that feature out, so people still buy stuff from the cinema line. It's like the engineers are making these great products that they know are capable of doing what they want them to do, and then it's like the people looking at counting the beans or whatever. They're like, no, don't give them all that. Like, we got to make them upgrade to this. So. Chris from Fairlawn, how's my mom and dad doing? They're doing good. I had dinner with them on Sunday, and they're heading out on vacation on Saturday. So yeah, they're happy about that. And then my dad has been riding that e-bike that I got given to the channel a lot and really enjoying it. So he actually rode by and talked to Large Marge the other day, who gave him directions to get over to the Freedom Trail and stuff like that. So I saw Ben sent me a video of him climbing up Bluff out of Akron, which is like really steep hill. And I asked him, I'm like, how did it handle it? He's like, oh, it was great. So, yeah. Thanks, Pudgy. Yeah, PW, feel free to, I don't know, hit up, if you're not in the Discord, hit that up. We have sections to talk about videography and photography, so then it's not just me talking on stream. There's more people who can actually share links and stuff like that and answer some more specific questions that you have. So, Windows Movie Maker, does that still exist? It's funny because my daily driver is not a Windows machine anymore. We're streaming from Windows, but I use that Mac M1 Max for everything now. So Don said, I bet Tim and crew would love the Kettle Valley Rail Trail through Mira Canyon in BC. The long stretches, 1,060 kilometers. Wow. Yeah, definitely love that. David, what's up? David said LumaFusion clicked well with him for quick phone edits instead of iMovie. And also, I would say if you do buy a GoPro, I find the GoPro app is really easy to edit on. And it's pretty much the only thing I edit videos mobile on. So I'll transfer a couple files from the GoPro directly to my phone. And then I'll use the GoPro app to put together just a really quick edit, put a little bit of adjustment on the colors. And I basically, what I do on the app is I turn the blacks down a little bit, crush the blacks it just makes stuff look more cinematic. Add a little bit of saturation to the GoPro just to their normal profile. And then I actually don't even crop it before I export it, because if it's going to be an Instagram story, I'll just expand it to where I want it to be. But yeah, the GoPro app I find to be really good. I think weren't you using it a little bit, Pudgy, and saying it's pretty easy? I think it's pretty intuitive and it's designed for phones. The Adobe stuff does work on your phone too, but again, that's because I'm paying for the full thing. Like I use Lightroom on my phone to edit any photo that you see posted to like an Instagram story. If I don't post stuff right in the moment, I still bring it over to the computer. I still open Premiere Pro on my computer and do all the edits there, because I just like having the touchscreen is just not the best way to do things. I mean, I've gotten decent at it, but if I'm gonna do stuff later, I'm gonna do it on my computer, even if it's only ever gonna be seen on a phone. So, oh yeah, Pudgy just dropped the link to the Discord. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, good. Stream health is good. When we started the countdown, it looked like the stream was a little shaky, and no idea why we've been having problems with it, but it's working fine now. So. Yeah, I've never used iMovie, but like I said, just because when I switched to iPhone, I was already using Adobe stuff. So, and before that, my first smartphone were Windows phones, and they didn't make shit for those. I hated having to give them up because I loved the operating system. It was so good, but no one made anything for it. So, hey, what's up, Ames? How's it going? Are you guys out back? What are we going to talk about tonight? Everyone's kind of quiet.
What's your title say?
Oh, rain riding. I was really interested to read all the comments people wrote about rain riding and what they do to either ride in the rain or just avoid it completely, which is usually my strategy is just to avoid it. But when I'm on vacations and stuff like that, you can't, because I'm not going to avoid the rain. So like I said, if it's not cold, I just get wet, and then try and wear stuff that'll dry quickly. Like I said, wool underwear is one of the best things I've ever discovered. But yeah, wool or like jersey type shirts and stuff like that. But when it's cold, the calculation becomes totally different. But I was saying that I don't believe you can really stay dry. And one of the things that came up a few times in Pudgy and now my friend Brian Yellowbird Threadworks, he wore one of those like cape poncho things, and I kind of forgot about it at Higher Ground last year, and it rained the whole time, and it was like upper 40s, lower 50s. I actually just DM'd him to ask him how he liked that so I could talk about it. He said he really liked it. Everyone who brought him up said they really liked those things. I should pull up a photo in case people haven't seen them before. Obviously, they're not going to be like aerodynamic if you care about that, but here's just the first one that pops up, just so you could at least get an idea of what they do look like. Have you ever seen these things?
Yeah, like the SeaWorld Cedar Point poncho.
Yeah, yeah, like Shamu's gonna get you.
I've never. So that's bikes specific.
So that I think probably the way they're shaped, so it like drapes over the
Yeah.
handlebars because it's got to be longer in the front.
It's not a half bad idea.
Ames just said rain riding. Are we preparing for nutmeg? So we rode in pouring rain at Nutmeg the whole time. I wore a rain jacket, but then I just wore like wool tights and stuff like that, and just got wet everywhere else. But wool still insulates, and I really have this pair of. I haven't seen them again. They're smart wool, but they have like this waffling pattern to the wool, so it keeps the wool from sitting tight against your skin, and it feels a lot more comfortable than just the like classic merino wool stuff when you get soaked. Me and Ben did a after the first time we went to Nutmeg, we did a tour of Connecticut, and the one day it poured all day, and I think that was like an upper 40s day, and those like saved me, because we were drenched. Like it just poured all like like monsoon. It was a nor'easter. It was Nutmeg nor'easter, and then we actually got caught in a nor'easter. But I wore my rain. I wore it in the last video. This Rafa rain jacket I have, which does all right. It's about as waterproof as you could get for a rain jacket, with still having like a vent in the back. But I just don't feel like. So basically, I was saying I don't feel like you could really keep dry, and a bunch of people said, "Well, you can," and it's one of these things. So, yeah. Back to the video editing real quick. Oh yeah, Linda Moore said just it's harder to make like the minute edits when you're like doing the touch screen. I do find it gets better and better. I'm still on the iPhone 14, and I just noticed even with the iOS 18 update, you could kind of rock your finger on a lot of things, which I never noticed. Which helps
Like
a
roll
lot.
it?
Yeah, do you do that? Yeah, that is like, maybe it's been there longer than 14 and I just noticed it, or the app's just updated, but I do find that in iOS 18 it's easier to make smaller adjustments by just kind of rocking your finger. But yeah, you're never going to dial it in like you are going to with a mouse, for sure. Yeah, Discord's cool. It's like, there's a million different. It started from like gaming stuff. There's a million different. What do you call them? Servers. Everyone calls their own a server for some reason. Then the little categories are called channels. But yeah, it's basically a glorified message board. It's the same like early internet, just came back around, But it makes total sense because YouTube comments are kind of a mess. So I think that's why a lot of YouTubers like started it. I saw that Pathless Pedaled, I think, is where I got the idea. And that saw Terry B had started one too. But yeah, that's what he said, Pudgy. He said that the poncho was loud, and he said the other thing is he had to make sure he tucked it underneath his saddle. If not, the road spray would just come up underneath. The picture I showed, this person has full fenders, and I asked the other people who were kind of in the comments, and I haven't gotten back to the replies on the comments yet. I was like, do you run full fenders? Because I've heard that you could just get water shooting up underneath. I'm trying to think about like when my bike gets wet though. I don't feel like the bottom of my legs are getting wet from, it's just more your shoes. Like I don't feel like I'm getting sprayed like in my hamstrings and stuff from the road, but probably depends on how wet it is too. Like what we rode on this weekend, the roads weren't totally soaked because it was more of just a light rain the whole time. But when it's pouring is when your bikes really start like rooster tailing and all that. So also depends on the tires you're running. So I know you asked Ames if she's coming. I know she's not. I know Brad is, but Brad only had a couple days of PTO left, and so from what they said, I just don't think Ames wanted to be in the car that much for just a couple days. So. Mushroom said, one night riding, got caught in the rain on a balmy summer night in the mid-August. The woods turned real lush and fragrant and bats were flying around. One of your favorite memories. I feel like that way about our Sunday ride too. Even if you look at the footage, like with the fall color popping out, I mean, I think fall in the rain is like extra pretty. And even like what I was saying about me and Ben, when we went around, when we got caught in that nor'easter, that was like full fall color in New England, and it was beautiful. And the fact that I stayed warm enough most of the time, I was like, it's not bothering me that much because it's one of the prettiest rides I've ever done. And then there was like mist over like the different valleys and stuff like that. So I guess it's like snow. It can be cool. I would still prefer neither. Still prefer to be dry and warm, but you know. Lyndon said, I think the poncho, looser fitting rain gear is the way to go as long as it doesn't get caught in your wheels. I asked people about that, and they all said they had no problem with that. Because I do think the looser, that's what they were kind of saying, the looser fitting thing is the way to go because it doesn't make you so warm. So it's just the clothes that you want to wear that are, so you can adjust like you always do to whatever the temperature is, which I said is the main problem with rain gear. Even in the 60s, my, mostly waterproof jacket it's too warm, so it doesn't really do me any good. I'd just rather be wet in wool than that. So Dylan said the weather forecast long term is definitely warmer this year than last for nutmeg, so even if it rains, whatever. I hope that's true. I don't I don't know how accurate the Northeast weather is, but I know here in Northeast Ohio, long term forecast means absolutely nothing to me, especially in fall and spring. Yeah, so I don't know. It's probably a little more regulated in Columbus because you don't deal with lake effect. But yeah, here it just like even Dylan, we were talking about riding at the Baileys, and you're like, well, the forecast looks good, and I'm like, I'm so used to being like, the forecast for the weekend on a Monday means nothing to me. So. Michael Stark said, I use a Caradace poncho high vis for commuting throughout the year. It is surprisingly warm in the winter since it cuts the wind, kind of like Pogies. Yeah. Let's look up. Oh, so like the English brand Caradace makes a poncho. Let's check it out. I'm kind of into trying one of these things. They seem, Let's see. Cycling weekend. Is it the Ducks back? Google is such trash now to try and find anything. Yeah, I want Temu. I want to see it on Temu. Let's see. Oh, they work. Does it work well for people with no head?
Nice.
Why is that the picture they used? Okay, there's a man with a face. Wow, these are like the worst pictures I've ever seen. Oh, this is like actually one to keep you warm, huh? Oh, no, lightweight, reproofable wax cotton, which is waterproof, noiseless and long lasting, tape seams, reflective. I wouldn't be opposed to spending money on something that like would work. I mean, I trust the Caradice brand too. So oh, hello. Look who we got. Oh, Edmund tried to jump a stairwell today, and his leash got caught. And he swung.
Was he hanging there?
Fell, and then it came free. Thank God.
Jeez.
I got to keep a better eye on him. Should we see? You got to settle in. Not that a black cat on a black sweatshirt comes out very well, but lure of this guy. My liver's doing okay. I just got an email from my credit card company though. And make it. You have no bike, but are interested in getting into bike packing. How would you get started? From zero? I mean, get a bike. I mean, obviously
Well,
is like a key that you will need. I always say the best way to get started to see if you like it before you spend a bunch of money on gear is to do what we call credit card touring. So pick a spot with a hotel and do an overnighter and be like, do I like traveling by bike? So, get a bike that has just a bike bag that has enough space for some extra clothes, and that's it. So that's the way I would get started. I mean, when it comes to getting a bike, that is just a whole, your budget's going to matter, but yeah, I like to say to buy used to save money, but if you are from nowhere, I'd walk into your local shop and tell them what your budget is, tell them what you're interested in. But yeah, it's hard to start from not even riding a bike to get into bike packing. That's, I rode bikes for years before I ever attempted to travel by them. So, but yeah, credit card touring is my best advice on getting into it. So. Might be riding shoddy with Brad and Keith. Brad and Keith. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I get that, Ames, too. That's why we always turn Nutmeg into like at least like a 5 to even 10-day trip sometimes, because it's too far to go for us from Ohio if you're not going to turn it into something more. So. Oh yeah, that's right, Ames. You could just ride back with Large. Did I tell you this? Ben's gonna ride back from Connecticut.
by himself?
Yeah, I was interested in it, but then even his preliminary route had 650 miles and 34,000 feet of climbing.
Jeez.
So the way you could cut down on the climbing would be to go up and do the Erie Canal Trail, the Empire Trail, but that adds mileage. So I was just looking, even if you did a century almost every day, that's 6.5 more days. But with 34,000 feet, you're not going to be able to. I would be able to do a century every day, and so that's just too much time. I love the idea of it, and I've thought about it every year. Even after Higher Ground last year in Pennsylvania, I'm like, could I just ride from Higher Ground out to Nutmeg? Then I'm like, I could, but it would just take so much.
That'd be brutal.
Yeah, and the weather. We're talking the last week in October, and going over the Alleghenies, so it could be. I think it's awesome that he's totally into it. So, and I'm glad he's doing it. He said it's typically a slower time of year at the shop, so between summer and before the holidays. So if he needs a couple extra days, also he's not totally screwed if the weather is horrible because we're out there, and like Aaron's saying, we could scoop him.
Yeah.
And there are trains if you need to, but yeah, it's pretty badass. I already I already have FOMO about the idea, but I'm like, I don't have that kind of time or money right now.
Yeah.
The other thing about trying to do centuries every day is you don't know where you're staying, so you have to find somewhere to stay. So, yeah, which would be interesting. PW said riding in the rain is greater than riding in the snow. I'm the opposite. I will ride in the snow cold when it's cold over the rain any day of the week. Like cold rain is something I won't ride in it here. Rarely, very rarely. Whereas, like I said, if I'm on a trip, like a bunch of people bailed on Higher Ground last year because it rained, and I'm like, I already bought the ticket. So, but I would always rather I would always rather ride in the snow than the rain. I mean, there's unrideable snow too. Buffalo is way better at handling their snow than we are here. But I remember you guys got buried, and even, what is that, 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago, around Christmas, where no one could get anywhere. You couldn't even, like, walk. But Michael said the biggest problem you've had with the poncho is the hood staying on. Oh, do you put it over the helmet? Because my rain jacket, the hood goes under the helmet, so it's not an issue. I'd say it's not an issue, but I hate it because I can't hear anything then. So if I'm riding with other people, I hate the rain hood. Like, so in the two videos, or the video I just made with the two rides, I never had the hood on because riding with Ben and Aaron, it's just too hard to hear. But when we were in Connecticut on that tour, I dealt with it just because I really was trying to stay dry up top for as long as possible. So, take and use a binder clip to attach the hood to your hat bill. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it depends on the jacket because a lot of, like, or poncho, some are over the helmet, some are under the helmet. Don said it would be nice to have a future live stream on what 3 areas and trails are your favorite. What a great way to see what's out there in the Americas. Yeah, I mean, I guess we end up getting into it a lot, especially after our trips. I'm just thinking it off the top of my head right now. We're talking about doing Ohio to Erie again next year, but I had a blast on the Gap in C&O. I think I would definitely do it one more time in the opposite direction, but I don't think I would do it over and over again. But I'm probably not the right one to ask because I've only been in the Midwest to the east and a little bit up in the North Woods, whereas, man, some of the trails out west look amazing, especially like out once you get to like Idaho and stuff like that. So, Sweetback bars are the poncho gateway. Binder clip poncho hood to little hat brim. It's called a cap. You guys are uneducated monsters.
Sacrilegious.
Yeah.
Do they make a? You know how we had rain suits for work.
Yeah.
Do they make that, or you just ride in your?
A lot of people talk
Blacker.
about rain pants, and I've said I've never looked into them. I just feel like they'd be annoying. If I was a commuter, I would totally try to make that
And then
work.
the next question would be like, you know, we sitting on the gator, you'd always say everything's gonna puddle if you're sitting down. You run into that on the bike.
Yeah, so when I'm wearing my rain jacket, it gets real annoying because you get that little scoop,
Mhm.
and eventually it starts running over into your crotch, and
Like
it's
the
awful.
the zipper down like where your pockets are. Yeah.
It's horrible. Yeah, on the Gator, eventually, that was like the worst thing that happened. I even said in the video, like the worst part is when your crotch starts to get wet. You know what I mean? I wonder if I think wearing, but that was we were wearing the rain pants too. We were wearing very breathable rain stuff, so it was just heavily water resistant.
We had super lightweight stuff. Yeah.
Because we were wearing it like in 90-degree days. Because in cornfields, in the Cuyahoga Valley, anyways. They were soaked in the morning, so if you're going to go out in the morning, you had to wear a rain suit or you'd be soaked right at the beginning of the day. And we also always wore long pants because just the nature of the job, you do not want to be in shorts doing farm work. So, yeah, we needed the breathable stuff, but yeah, it's, I would say, heavily water resistant. Definitely not waterproof. And we did have some, Big John would always wear the waterproof stuff.
He'd
I'm
wear
like-
that thick like.
I'm like, how are you not
Rubber
a sweaty
stuff.
mess? Yeah, the classic yellow. Like,
Because he was a old man.
yeah.
He'd be wearing the unisuit in the winter.
Yeah, he would wear like the Carhartts that were one piece. Yeah,
Like, man, that's pretty hardcore.
yeah. I always too about him. So this is the old farmer we worked for. We worked mostly with his son, but he was still the owner. He was also always clean. he wore khaki pants and button-down shirts, and he wasn't dirty. And I was always like, I'm a dirtball. How are you clean? Like, we're working on a
It's because
farm.
everybody else was emptying his crates.
Yeah, we're the one doing all the we're doing all the dirty work. Yeah, that's true. Let's see what Patty said. Got caught in the mother of all monsoon thunderstorms near the North Rim back in August. Went from 80 degrees Fahrenheit down to 50 in a minute, and we got soaked through while hiding from very close lightning strikes. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, too. When we get a cold front in the summer, the temperature might drop, but it's not going to be, like, dramatic like in like out in, like, the desert area like that. So 109 for a poncho, I'm all set. It wasn't just, I mean, it's a bike specific made by Caradice, you know. We were lucky no one got hypothermic or electrocuted. I'm like a real big, I'm a real big baby with the lightning. Like, I don't like being out in lightning. I'm trying to remember at the farm if I was like watching birds and you were off, if I just had to be out there.
I spent a few times under a big ass tree, like a dumbass.
I feel like we would have been. I mean, I also didn't like killing animals, but I did that. So
I honestly don't remember too many lightning storms. I think when
Yeah.
it got too gnarly, we were just smart enough to go back to the
Yeah.
shop. And
I think if it was pouring that hard and lightning that hard, though, there wasn't bird activity.
no,
Like in the rain, you had to be out there, but if it gets lightning and stuff, like no birds are coming to my feeder when there's a thunderstorm
Right.
going on. So I always liked when customers would ask us, like, "Oh, you guys work like when the weather's bad?" And Johnny'd always be like, "The corn doesn't stop growing." It's like, it's a farm, like, you know what I mean. This isn't like an outdoor amusement. This isn't Cedar Point. But that band. See me out there in the lawn in a leaf bag for that price. I don't, again, I don't ride in the rain that much, so 109 would be steep for like a poncho, and I'm sure you don't have to get the Caradice one, which is wax canvas and stuff. So, but for other bike stuff, I will pay the premium for stuff that lasts and works instead of stuff that has to be thrown away. But you're right, you can just as easily throw on a sports rain poncho too. A $500 Dyneema poncho would go hard. That would be so. The problem is it'd probably be too lightweight. You know, if you had a Dyneema poncho, you probably would have no way to keep it down. It would probably just keep like blowing up like over your face, like like a parachute. Yeah, Edmund's a big boy. He's not a little cat. Astropop asked what the lightweight honesty locks we use. Mine's a Hip Lock brand. I only get them from the bike shop. And someone asked about what Aaron's was, and I just said Hip Lock because that's what mine is. We've just bought the different ones they've had at different times. So, yeah, just those. But I assume Hip Lock is still in business. So, Pudgy said Autolock. Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of brands that makes those. So. Oh, Ames is saying that's the dream to ride back from Nutmeg. So nice. And David said snow is greater than rain, 100%. Oh, what's up, Racer? Scored some bikes today? Let's see what you got. Club, why did it disappear when I tried to make it look full screen? Oh. It's trying to give me a bunch of AI bullshit now, even in here. Oh yeah, it's a nice looking Fuji. What was the other one you got? Oh dang, this is look at this old cruiser. Those are like the bikes they turned into the clunkers back in the day.
what's the maker?
Let's see if he said. 30s era Mead Ranger. Yeah, anything pre-war, man. That's crazy. And for anyone who doesn't know, pre-war stuff is so rare because everybody scrapped everything for the war effort. So whatever you could find, anything pre-war, it's going to be valuable.
A strop up became a member.
A strap up. Thank you. I think I look like more like Astropup. But yeah, our British guy doesn't know how to pronounce stuff. But yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it. I do it. That Fuji is pretty cool looking. Valuate is what the tubing on the Fuji we have here that we're gonna build up into something weird is. Did you have a picture of the components on the Fuji? Oh wait, I have it up here. Gotta open in browser, then zoom in. Suntour Cyclone. Oh yeah. Definitely got real, like, nice forged dropouts there. That's pretty nice. Yeah, I dig that. Fat bikes in the snow are a blast. Yeah, I've never owned a fat bike. I would definitely, if our winters aren't snowy enough anymore to justify one here, but yeah, they are fun because I've definitely tried them. But I go with the studded tires on my old 26-inch mountain bike. Yeah. Rain is the worst outside of catastrophic weather. Yeah.
If it's cold, like cold, and you're riding in the snow, are you getting wet?
No, if it's cold, you're not getting wet from the snow because it's just like making snow at Boston Mill.
Yeah.
You're not getting wet because it's freezing. Everything's frozen. It's like riding the towpath on like a snowy night where you have like a couple inches is like one of the best. If say the moon's out,
Yeah.
you don't even need your headlight on.
Right.
Nobody else is out. It's like an awesome experience.
Yeah.
Like
I bet.
Say 25 degrees or 28 degrees. Like that's like perfect. And you know how to dress for it. It still hurts when you leave your house. You know what I mean? Not right away. It's that mile in. So there's this period that I find that is like, it's like the 15 to 30-minute range. It's not even 15 minutes long, where the heat from inside wears off. You haven't built up enough heat yet from riding, and it sucks. But and it's usually my face feels it and all that, and I don't wear anything on my face because I get too hot later. And I don't like to be over, because you don't want to overheat, because we always stop and get dinner and stuff.
Right.
So it's like that. So I am underdressed for just being outside, but I'm dressed right for where I'm going to be 3 miles in. You know? So it's always just that initial, it's like getting in your cold car.
Yeah.
Greg said the guy next door needs a California compressor, super quiet according to your wrench. Yeah. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how it's not bothering him in the barbershop, and I don't know how my buddy Brian, who lives above them, isn't complaining, because here we're one building over, but I'm hearing it. Wait. Yeah. But I could hear it.
That's what I was staring at. I was trying to think of where we're at.
I could hear it in my next building. If you don't know, I own 2 buildings, and they're connected on the first floor, but not in the basement. And I could hear it in the other basement, and I know my tenant in the other apartment could hear it. So a building over and diagonal, whatever. Sorry.
They must have it. It's gotta be blowing. It's gotta be a compressor. I thought it was a dehumidifier for a second.
The way it's kicking on every occasion,
Right.
just occasionally. I just need to tell them to turn it off when they leave for the day. When I do my voiceover, it doesn't
I didn't know
run
anybody
that.
was in there.
What?
I didn't know anybody was in there.
Well, that's the barbershop.
That's not the barbershop, is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm backwards. I thought that was the front of the building.
Yeah, 1668 is next to the empty one. So, any brand to recommend for fall winter outfit? Just moved from Florida. Depends on what you're looking for. I mean, if you're looking for wool, I mean, Smart Wool is always great. Bike shops carry that. I would check and see what your bike shop, if there's a good bike shop where you moved, has. I have a link in all my videos to a brand called Thermowave, which I really like. They're um, European brand, family owned. They own the whole process, and they reached out to me. I got some of their stuff. I like it a lot. They have it's a family business and sustainable and all that. But yeah, if you go Amazon to get some cheap stuff, I have what is it called? Wool 365, which like for thin base layers has worked really well. Mine is all wearing out now, but that's just kind of a problem with wool in general. So look at this dude. Just living life. He tried to play all day, so I think he's zonked now. Dude. It is nice having the movable camera compared to the mirrorless or the SLR down here. Arborwear wool shirts, hoodie, Gordon Fisherman suit on the bike. that's what John looked like he was wearing, right? Hog Dog said I had an Eddie Bauer rain suit and it lasted for like 10 years in the rain. I feel like left it at a broad's house in a while. Broad, God, jeez. My mom was on a date in the 70s, and her date called her a broad, and she got out of the car even back then. Man. So
How do you call somebody that you're talking to a broad? Unless you say, listen here, broad, or something like that.
Yeah.
Quit slamming my door, broad.
You broad.
You broad.
Man.
Novak HVAC super chatted $4.99. Thanks for all bike content. I will continue watching, but I have to work tomorrow.
What's up, Aaron? Thanks so much. I think it's first. Aaron's been on the stream. We talked about last time when he did Unbound Gravel, but I think it's the first time you've popped up in the chat. Thanks so much, buddy. Yeah, good luck. It looks like you're doing a big HVAC job anyways. It's interesting to hear. I always said HVAC, but I always heard experts say HVAC, which makes sense. But I've heard Aaron say HVAC, and now I feel more justified. Eddie Bauer's stuff has gone down. They sell cheap stuff now. Like Eddie Bauer used to mean like high end, and I don't think that brand does anymore. Like,
I don't think anybody going into Eddie Bauer is necessarily going to, hike up Mount Everest anymore.
No, I mean I have an Eddie Bauer down jacket that my parents got me, and it's not trash, but it's like, now I have a Rafa down jacket, and the difference is huge. You know what I mean? Like,
Rafa's making down? That seems like it'd be like too bulky.
Oh, that's what's so great about it. It packs up so tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Lachlan Morton, I always saw him wearing them, and I was like, man, I want one of those so bad. But when they first released them, I think they were like $425.
Right.
Of course, Rafa. I mean, you pay a premium for Rafa, and then in general, some of their stuff is pretty high quality. Like, it's all water treated down, it's all sourced down, it's all down from the food industry. So they're saying it's. I know vegans don't agree with that. That's fine. But it's still not just, they weren't just plucking the birds.
It's not raw or virgin down.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I understand the arguments against it no matter what. But and I was like, oh man, I can never afford that. Then they marked it down so much. I think it was under $200, which any decent down jacket's going to be around that mark.
Mm-hmm.
Really cheap ones could be $100, but then what are you getting? And so I went to order it, and then they only had it available in this like light blue color. And I was like, fuck it. I'm getting it because I want it to be a good jacket.
Right.
But his were like the EF colored ones, and then they had like an orange one that looked awesome. mine's like this. Like, there's someone who comments on every time I wear it. They're like, "Oh, did you steal Aaron's jacket?" Trying to think of who the commenter is who says that, because I'm like, I'm not gonna stand up for myself on that one. It is a little goofy looking, but it is awesome. It is. You get a flat. Like in the winter, I carry it with me all the time. You get a flat. The first thing I do is put it on. You know, like you're hopping off the bike when it's 20 degrees outside. Yeah, anything goes wrong, I throw on that down jacket instantly. So, yeah, I've even taken to, like, when we leave the restaurants or the bars, I put it on, I unzip it, and then I stop and take it off and stuff it in the bag. It's like, why start off cold anymore? Like, I mean, got this. So, Mike asked if I've done any of the pass around Dayton. Yeah, me and Aaron did a trip. I actually have a early video on the YouTube channel about riding there. We did the one that goes out towards Wright Patterson, because we rode through Wright Patterson, like, well, where the museum is, where the planes are parked outside. And then we rode over to, like, the Carolinian area where the big bell tower things are. So I've done those two. I was saying if we do Ohio to Erie, like, I say Ohio to Erie, I just mean riding across Ohio in the general route, because we've already done the route, that we should go from Cincinnati to Dayton and then over to Xenia or something. So, but yeah, I want to do more of that. So, Diadja Bob, I'll just say Bob. Decathlon has a bike rain poncho that is lightweight and like $5. So,
Pudgy Pedal Pusher became a member. Pudgy Pedal Pusher celebrates 43 months of membership. Sweet coat you Sally, you buy that at Vicky's. Fortune cookie.
I cannot tell what he said without seeing that. But 43 months, Pudgy. Thanks for the 43 months. You and Dylan are the OGs in here. I feel like I'd want to go middle of the road, though. So, like, I could imagine getting something really cheap. I wouldn't want a plastic poncho. I would want something bike specific, so that the lengths, like, kind of made sense. But yeah, like, I feel like the noise and the material on a $5 one probably wouldn't be the best, or it wouldn't be as packable. I don't know. I mean, let me know if anyone's used it. So, Ames says it's ironic I'm not going to Nutmeg because I've done nothing but buy all the rain gear I would need for that ride again. I remember Ames at Nutmeg last year. You took off with Terry B's buddy Alex, ATB Media, and they were like, we had hit some road sections, and they took off to ride fast and have some fun, and then we caught them where we were like trudging through like 2 foot, 3 foot deep puddles, and she was not happy anymore. I was like, "What's up, Ames?" And we were like, me and like Terry and a couple of his other buddies, Crop Top. We're like trying to balance our bikes, and we're like riding through it, and we're laughing because at this point it's like, who cares? And,
Right.
It's like we're soaked as we could be, we're as dirty as we could be. Like, you know, they were all on mushrooms. I just had a few beers, so we were all in like good spirits. But I know at that point Ames wasn't loving it anymore. So, what's up, John? Again, Astro Pup, appreciate the new membership. So, also, if you jump in the Discord, like, you could link YouTube, and there is a member section, which I think will start to expand a little bit now and promote a little bit more. But did you try Moth Handlebar? It looks fun. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the. I don't know the Moth Handlebar. What is that? I mean, I don't try a ton of stuff either. I see if just typing in Moth Handlebar shows anything. I like how there's just a picture of a moth. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Big wide sweep bars? No, I'm not familiar with these. It's the best for vintage mountain bike, big wide commuter bar, and you can use it with a 25-4 clamp. Nice. I'm not familiar with this company at all. Magic. What else do they sell? $110. They aren't giving them away. I'm trying to think of what I paid for my. Like, what am my Velo Orange? No, I know what I paid for my Velo Orange handlebars. I traded Ben a bunch of stickers for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think you paid anything.
Yeah. I mean, I paid something to buy those stickers. But yeah. Those are the only sweet bars I have. So yeah, I don't know actually really what a set of sweet bars would cost. Oh, they're out of stock. So, well. Oh, Crust sells them. So that makes sense. Yeah. Maybe I feel like this is something I would have heard of, but I don't think I'm familiar. Huh. Is this the right account? Is this my bicycling account that I'm on here? Yes. I'll follow them so I can check it out. Post-war metal is all radioactive. That's true. Oh, Racer, you said your Fuji says quad butted. Yeah. I think the Fuji I have says triple butted. Interesting. A boy in his shopping cart said, "What's your worst crash? I crashed yesterday. You're fine. The chipmunk isn't." My worst crash, I did it on my Viscount coming home down Main Street in Akron, but I don't remember it. I was already a little bit drunk, and then I think I got knocked. Like, I came to with a bunch of people yanking on my bike and yelling at me. And I rode off. I remember breaking free. I don't remember this. I didn't remember it until morning. And then, so basically in the morning I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I have a scar still over this eye. And I was like, oh man, I feel horrible. And I saw like the scar. And I looked in the bathroom and I saw bloody gauze. And then I remembered a cop. And so that was my worst accident, but it was just still pretty much scrapes and scratches. So I've never had a really horrible bike accident, thank God. I think on our Halloween stream last year we did like that, like scary bike rides and scary accidents. I think I'll be out of town this year though for Halloween. Maybe we'll have to do it a week earlier. Remember we lit a bunch of candles in here that we kept hitting our heads on?
Yeah, that's right.
Like hanging them from the ceiling. Got like the jack-o'-lanterns going and everything. Oh, nice. You only paid $80 for that Fuji? Nice. I'm pretty far behind on this chat, aren't I?
Yeah, yes, but not really.
Move through these a little quicker. Full moon on Loveland Pass in Colorado is pure bliss. Yeah, that's how. I mean, I'm sure it's even better with scenery in Colorado, but like we're saying, snow ride and just along the towpath and along the canal, basically south of Akron, is one of my favorite things. It's been a couple of years since we've really had the weather line up right to make that perfect. Because, like, I know like a lot of the people who follow the stream and are from Minneapolis. Got some fruit flies in here now. They get the groomed fat bike trails, and up where we were in Michigan, they groom the fat bike trails, which would be really cool. Like I said, if I lived in one of those areas, I would own a fat bike. But here, you know, like I said, 2-3 inches of snow and just riding my old mountain bike with studded tires, I love it. Why is it called the towpath? So canal towpaths are where the donkeys towed the canal boats from. So it's just really, it's exactly what the word sounds like. You know, it is the tow path. So yeah, donkeys, mules pulled the boats with a harness system and they walk down the towpath. Hey, don't start grabbing all my stuff. Edmund just wakes up and starts pulling everything off the
Starts
shelves.
pulling cords out of things.
Yeah. So here in Ohio, we have the Erie, Ohio. Oh, why can't I say it right?
Ohio Erie Canal.
Ohio to Erie Canal. So Ohio River to Lake Erie. But the big one, through New York and stuff like that is just the Erie Canal, like the most famous canal in the country, I would say. And same thing, you could ride the old towpath. So look at this guy, just causing trouble. He's up and he's ready to go now. Edmund's pulling pens out of my little. I'm sitting at a bar my friend had at his house, but it has all these like cubbies in the back, and I keep pens to write down ideas that you guys tell me, and I guess apparently to make Edmund be able to have fun. Racer said late winter, early spring is almost unrideable here because of the temperatures and the slush. Yeah, for us it's almost always just the rain now. So mud season in the mountains is ultra suck. Yeah, I know I watch people on Instagram, but yeah, we don't really have those issues. Like the bike paths and stuff, and the towpath is crushed limestone, so it could get a bit sloppy in certain spots. But a lot of our other bike paths are paved, but they don't take care of them, so they could also be horrible and muddy. So why'd we lose focus? There we go. Heated gloves and socks this year. Someone sent me heated gloves, and then our winters have never been that worth trying them for. I find that I could layer up with the gloves. I wear like the lobster ones as my outside layer, so they split my fingers into 2 and 2. If it's really cold, I wear the wool gloves underneath them, just regular like defeat wool gloves. And if it's really, really cold, I'll actually wear 2 pairs of the wool gloves, like the ones that I have from a couple years ago that have worn out, over those. And then the lobsters. And the lobster gloves are waterproof too. And there have been times where my hands have still gotten cold. Like I've always said, like when it's in the low teens for me, like anything over an hour, I'm gonna get cold everywhere, no matter what I'm wearing. I'm only gonna do an hour, anyways. But yeah, I haven't found the need for the heated gloves, but they would be nice to start out in, especially like I guess getting back out there. But I don't know. I feel like I could manage down to the teens with what I have. So. Oh, Edotech, you're in North Homestead. Nice. Yeah. I think the beer I'm drinking is from North Homestead. No, I'm not. I'm drinking Gold Horn. I thought I grabbed a Fatheads tonight, but Racer. Oh, Novak's got his logo on his YouTube thing. That's nice. Thanks again, Aaron. I know you're probably gone because you're getting up early, but appreciate it. Back then it was dumb, bro. Oh, God. This live stream brought to you by Novak HVAC. Yeah, I haven't really said this out loud a lot lately, and I should. The live streams, while they're live, are brought to you by the channel members, and then any super thanks, obviously, is super appreciated. But if you noticed, I used to put ads on the live streams when they were live, but I realized people jump in later and people jump in and out, and now they put mid-roll on there, so like I'll just be chatting and then an ad will pop up. So I turned them off, so the channel members really are who make it so the live streams have no ads. When I end the live stream, I turn on the ad, so if you watch it the next day, there can be ads on it or whatever. But while we're live, I figured that's way too annoying, and so there are no ads on it. And I always say the live streams are sponsored by channel members. So, and most channel members become channel members through the live stream, not all of them. So I also think that's like a cool thing. So Eddie Bauer got hit in the face by North Face. North Face really hunkered down in the early 2000s. They even sued that kid over a South Butt brand to stop existing and won. Wow. I did not know about that. That's probably an interesting story. There's probably a good YouTube video about it, right? Now I see what he said. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Natty, bonjour. Tim, just wear Ames rain gear. Come up to like just like under my knee. You know? Was it Ben that bought? I think Ben and Ames both bought stuff from Joe Cruz last year. If you guys know that dude who writes for bikepacking.com, just a all-round adventurer and cool dude. But I know we were in the line for pizza at Nutmeg last year, and Ben's like, "Oh, your jacket saved me." Like, and then I think Ames bought a jacket that was Joe Cruz's wife's or girlfriend. I think he's married his wife. I can't remember what piece of kit she bought, but when she got home, she looked it up, and it was like some $350 thing that she had bought for like $40 or whatever. And if you're still in here, Ames, you could relate that story, but it was like some awesome like steel, and it looked like it had been worn like once. Mm-hmm. So, Patty, you can't send a member chat. I think it only gives. Is it one a week or one a month? I don't know. But I don't feel like you used it last time. But I don't know how to do it because I've never sent one. So yeah, other people have to let you know. Nathan Watson asked if I still use the Surly corner bar on my winter build. Yeah, I do. So I have that on there. I think I updated like a video showing how because I changed the setup from the original setup. So I put for the front, I have a triple on the front of that. It's a 2001 Trek. The front shifter wasn't really working that well. It's indexed for the triple, so I just put a bar end on the end of the Surly. Works great, and it's still index shifting on the rear 8-speed. So, yeah, I love those Surly corner bars. It's the best. It's the cheapest way to get the feel of drop bars without switching your controls. They're very shallow drops, but I just love all the different positions, especially with heavy winter gloves. It's kind of nice to be on the tops and then be able to spread your arms out, especially on long days in the snow. And then also to get the leverage on how wide they are in the snow. So on mine, I also have the Happy stem because I found that when I originally put them on the original stem and old mountain bike stems, I was just way too far forward. So with the Velo Orange Happy stem, it really bumps them up. So yeah, I would still recommend them. So Pudgy asked how Crop Top is doing. He seems to be doing well. He's got his prosthetic leg. He's been riding bikes a little bit. So I think he's still rehabbing down in Texas where his family lives. But I would say from what he posts socially, he seems like a super positive guy who's kept his spirits up and all that. If you don't know, Crop Top is one of Terry Berenson's friends and got a ride with a little bit of Nutmeg last year and have followed his stuff for a long time. Lost his leg below the knee in a truck accident in New York City. So Mr. Natty said, I have a cheap poncho for years and it's the best. You've made babies under it. What's going on? Mr. Natty, are you going to be back for Nutmeg? Did I see you were back over in England? Oh, Patty popped a couple pics in here. Let's see. That picture's awesome. Man, I would love to get back out there again. I was only out there for work. Have you been out west this far?
Where is this?
Grand Canyon?
No.
I was out there for that work trip. Was that last fall? But it was amazing, but we were like blowing through everything. You know, we didn't have time to like... I was still enjoying it, and I was still making videos, so it was like still...
You got some pretty sweet shots.
We got really lucky, especially at that Horseshoe Bend area. It was beautiful to be there at sunset. Yeah, oh wow, that's great. That's really cool. Oh, so this is kind of when you get a little farther away because this is what it looked like on our way out. I do have this on screen right now. Yeah, good. Yeah, awesome. I'm guessing you don't have any pictures of when the weather turned on you because that's how it always is for me. Like, well, that's a good thing about the GoPro is I can still film, but like on my cameras, I have to bury them and make sure they're safe. So, Patty posting rim pics. Is it after 10? $110. You could buy a poncho for that price. I think everyone's first road bike was a Fuji or a Raleigh. What was my first road bike? Oh, my dad's Motopecan would have been my first road bike in 2016. But it was like a 1980. Do you ever? Well, you rode road bikes when we first met, right? Didn't you have fixies?
Centurion.
Oh yeah, Centurion. Were they bought by someone? Do you know?
Oh, I'm sure they were.
Yeah. Huffy Dash in like 1984. Horse. Oh, Hog Dogs was Ohio State colors. Nice. Well, it's red, white, and blue. Oh, Ohio State like capital, like gray and scarlet and gray. Isn't that what
That's what I took out of it.
Yeah.
Now, pretty much any Japanese bike that's a proper bike. That's what like the Fuji.
Wait, which one?
Any Japanese frame.
Ah, yeah. Like my Schwinn Paramount. That's actually a. What brand is that? It's not Fuji. It's a. What are the other two big Japanese bike companies? There's Miata, and it's not that. And then there's.
That's what I was trying. I had Miata on that.
I'm like totally drawing a blank on the other big. Fuji, Miata, and. Google Japanese bikes. Peekaboo, that sucks. Well, Large Marge, my buddy, I watched him get absolutely smacked by a car too, and he flew up over the hood and landed on the ground with an audible noise. It was horrible. So, and that guy got out and he was all freaked out and tried to blame it on us. Didn't have insurance or anything. When the cop came, the cool thing was I was able to show him my Strava to prove that guy was in the wrong because where we were and where we went, because he said we had kind of like broken the rules by going like through the light, and I was like, nope, I got a picture of exactly where we went. So the cop's like, do you mind if I take a picture of that? I was like, nope. So
There's a lot of Japanese brand. You thinking Nishiki?
Nishiki, that is another one, but that's not the
Or
one.
Panasonic.
Panasonic, yeah, that Schwinn Paramount's a Panasonic. You know what? I have Pogies, and I used them when I had the flat bars, but then I switched to the, like we were just talking about, the Surly corner bars, so I haven't used them since. I liked them at first, and then I felt like they weren't really any better than, like, my lobster gloves, but people swear by them, so, yeah.
Are you saying that right? That
Pogies.
doesn't sound right.
Pogies.
Pogies. You've said Pogies twice now.
Pogies. Yeah, Pogies, you're right. Yeah, see, people love them. I get it, so. I lived on a narrow boat for 5 years in London, floating barbershop. Nice. Hey, what's up, Minrun? Yeah, I know commuters love them. My buddy Ben loves them. The thing I really liked about them when I was first riding with them is especially someone who used a GoPro, so I could wear my light wool gloves, have them in the, now I can't, Pogies, and then reach out and still like have dexterity. But I've kind of switched back to just going with like the lobster gloves, and I feel warmth wise that Pogies are overrated. I'm gonna get in trouble with everyone here, but everyone acts like they're the warmest things in the world, and I feel like they're just as warm as heavy winter gloves. Ames said snow and sub 20 degrees. Zwift enters the chat. It used to for me too, You know what? This is so ridiculous, but do you know the reason I didn't ride Swift at all last year is because Edmund's not afraid of my bikes, and I was afraid he'd walk into the spokes.
Yeah.
Like when I roll a bike into the studio, and he's so used to him because I adopted him just last December. He just like walks right up to him like, "Hey, bud, you got to move. Like, there's a bike roll. You're gonna get hit by a pedal." And so I just didn't feel like because this is where I do Zwift, and I just felt like that dude would walk right into it. Especially then, he was so needy. As an abandoned cat, he was all over me. Maybe this year I could slow pedal, but last winter was so mild that I just got out. We only had that one weekend of sub 20 degrees, and most of it was really really mild. So, all right, Mr. Natty's going to be out at Nutmeg. Hell yeah, look forward to it. Yeah, neoprene Pogies. I have a set that is like feels like they could like go on to various different types of bars, so I might try those this year. Um, the ones I was running on my flat bars were like the more serious classic kind, 45 North, I believe. So. Oh, nice. You could fit 30s in that Fuji. Yeah, 23, 25. No way. Oh, I'm going to catch up. Try and catch up. Oh, Ames did bring up the Joe Cruz thing. She bought Joe Cruz's Search and State wool jersey, and it's your favorite piece of cycling clothing. Retail was under $400, and you paid $30 for it. And it was never worn.
Holy crap!
Hell yeah. Who knows? I mean, I'm guessing, Joe Cruz probably gets sent a lot of stuff, so maybe they didn't pay for it, so maybe that's why he didn't care. But that's awesome. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter. Nishiki, Miata, Panasonic. Yeah, Racer got the Panasonic. Mishimi. Skline. I'm not sure. That sounds kind of familiar. Mishimi?
Oh, there's like a ton. That sounds.
Are they more of like
familiar.
A track bike company? Well, they all do track bikes out there in Japan, right? Patty Rev said his first was a Marushi Voyager. Huh. Yamaha. Yeah, David. Yep. Bridgetown? You mean Bridgestone?
Bridgestone.
Bridgestone, yeah. Idotech. Bridgestone. How do we not think of that one like instantly?
Oh, Panasonic. Same thing.
Yeah. That was too easy.
Not really, but.
Hey, Rock Eastwood. How's it going? Are you out in Japan right now? I know Rock was heading back to Japan to pick up a bunch of his outdoor gear. So. Bohemian Trasfree. Whatever. I'm not even gonna. You made your own hand warmers? I know from watching like Terry B's New York videos, all the bike messengers make their own out of it. Looks like packaging material and tape. Like every single one has like their homemade hand warmers from a halogen light bulb. Wait, I don't know. What
You
that
can't
means.
say that.
What?
Bohemian Trap City.
Bohemian Trap City. Oh yeah, is that a rap city? Is that a music reference? Like trap?
I think
trap a
that's.
kind of techno.
I'm assuming it's a Queen reference.
Well, isn't trap music some kind of techno
Well, yeah,
or something?
trap.
So
Yeah.
Bohemian Trap City.
Or drugs, I guess. Could go either way.
Drugs?
Yeah.
What kind of drug is trap?
Trap house.
Trap house? What does that mean? How do you know
You're
this?
too old.
You're too old. You're the one who's fallen off the planet. How do you know that? You watching TikToks about this?
Too old.
You work for the parks and walk your dog. How do you know about Trap House?
I just got a lot of downtime.
Yeah. You're the guy with the high vis vest while a truck's moving through, and you're just sitting there on your phone.
Yeah, figuring out what a drug den is. What the kids are calling drug dens.
Yeah. May have spelled it wrong. Peekaboo says 2 vintage road bikes, a rebadged Bridgestone, and a mid '80s Miele. Kermit the Fraud said, "How do I feel about vintage bikes? How far does this gimbal head go?" Wait, wrong way. Does it go? It only goes one way, but that's how I feel about vintage bikes.
What got you landed on a Peugeot?
French stuff. Real Francophile. What's so funny about that?
Is that a real word?
Yeah, Francophile. Like if you're like into English shit, you're an Anglophile.
Okay.
I heard Anglophile about like music originally, but Francophile more about like I can't remember who first called me a Francophile, but yeah, wrong way. Yeah, so over there is the frame, the red frame is the Schwinn Paramount, which is the Panasonic. And then there's a Trek 500, which is a 1983 Trek 500. Then there's a Look, which is a carbon lug tube, aluminum lugs. Roger Riviere, 1989 Team Stump Jumpers, that's specialized. A Jeton Tour de France. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what that is, but it's still like Mayfac racer brakes and all French components, strong like cranks. And then a 1986 Schwinn Peloton, a 1982 Peugeot. Is that a PN11? Their names are so weird and they're never printed on the bikes. That's a British bike next to it. Drawing a blank on the name of that guy. Another Tour de France winner. Reynolds 531 tube set on that, and then a Viscount Aerospace, which is a British bike. That one's probably a 1981, but they're hard to date. So, anyways, yeah. So I like the vintage bikes, and then if you go this way, there's a 1996 Team Marin, which I made like kind of did the gravel bike conversion thing. So yeah, and then you can't see farther, but there's a couple other vintage bikes, another Peugeot and a Miata that are behind. That I ride. So I still love them. I don't ride them as much anymore. I ride my Raleigh and my Gunner almost like for everything. So, but I love tinkering with them. Oh yeah, there's 2 more vintage bikes right there. There's the Fuji we were talking about, and then there's a Raleigh, which is a piece of shit. It's basically a Huffy, and well, it is a Huffy. Huffy bought the name Raleigh for some period of time in the 80s. That bike actually has decent dropouts for like a really bottom of the barrel bike. So I think there's 2 other frames over there. And then my Motovacon, that was my dad's, that got me into vintage road bikes, is upstairs. So. Didn't we use that as a trivia question? How many bikes are in here?
I forget what the answer was.
Yeah, I have to count again. Then I guess that's not vintage, but over here the trainer bike is a 2007 Trek 1500. And that bike, I pulled the group set off originally and put it onto the 1983 Trek, so that's like a neo retro build. I love that bike. Rode it in a video a couple weeks ago. Have over 4,000 miles on it, but again, don't ride as much. Did some bike tours on it. Sucked as a bike touring bike. It's not made for it. It's not the right geometry, but did it anyways. I've never had Pogies unless it's 0 and haven't had a problem. And always recommend talking up your hands and feet. I've never done that. You ever talk?
No. But Racer said you could be a contender.
On what?
On owning a lot of bikes.
Oh, yeah.
What would that do? I guess stop you from
Keeps us
sweating.
dry, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, used bikes, I'm definitely, like I said, I'll go out with a chance of rain, but I usually don't leave the house with rain. That's why last weekend was so unique. But if I'm doing an event or a bike tour, there's no choice. Like I don't back out of events, and I don't not like finish the day on a bike tour if it's raining. But at home, so yeah. Racer said you didn't realize Bridgestone was Japanese. Yeah, so that's why I think wasn't Grant Peterson's bike job like when he was designing them, he was like the American division of Bridgestone, but yeah, they're definitely a Japanese company. So just like Bridgestone Tires, the company that owns Firestone now. So Eric said, "I've now hit your yo. You hit a squirrel. I've never hit a squirrel. You feel like the chipmunks at least make self-preserving zigzags." Man, yeah. Aaron hit a groundhog, so
How did she hit a groundhog?
we were going for a QOM too. We were leading her out on the gravel through downtown,
Yeah.
and we're leading her out, and then a
It
groundhog
just came running
flipped
across.
but it like clipped her back tire, and she was fine. She kept going. She's like, "Oh my god!" And we're like, "We're on pace. Don't stop." Kermit the Fraud. The other thing I'm pulling up pictures from is the Discord. So if you're not talking about the chat, or I'm just so far behind on the chat you can't tell. Bohemian Trap City said you surprisingly like Centurion. Yep. They almost exclusively made like racing stuff, right? It was like tri bikes and road bikes. I don't think they really did
Yeah, a lot of
anything
they're
else.
like, I can't. It's the one I have. Well, I got a few, but with the major one, Dave Scott, it was like a tri dude.
Yeah, try it. Yeah.
But yeah, mainly like road.
Univega. Did Univega make good bikes? Anytime I see a Univega, it's usually a pretty bottom of the barrel thing. I'm not saying they didn't. I've just never seen a nice Univega. So, but they could have done the whole spread. I'm not sure. What? Where are they from? They're an American brand, aren't they? Or not? Are they not? I don't know.
No, they're Japanese.
Oh, they're Japanese. No.
Univega, I think I have. It's like ungodly heavy. It's a tank.
That's what I usually see when I see the
Yeah.
Univega. They're like the gas pipe straight gauge too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. I'm not saying they didn't make anything nice. I just didn't. I personally haven't seen anything nice. Most people could say that about Peugeot too. You usually see the cheap low
That's
end
true.
UO10. UO10 is that what they are? The cheap ones that everybody has, the lugged ones. Wes has one. Even like the blue Peugeot that I turned into like the bike that I pull Edmund with is it looks beautiful, but it's really cheap.
Yeah, I don't know. Peugeot models. I got a pretty sick one. I think it's a good one just based on the decals. I'm trying to date it and judge it off of that. But I have no idea what it is.
Oh, you should let me see. Why wouldn't you tell me this?
It used to be Katie's. Well, got it for Katie.
I know my friend shit. Yeah, I have to show it to you. Mine, even the one that was my daily driver, is like a lower end one. It's Carbolite 103, which is straight gauge. But it's so weird. Like, it's internally brazed. Like, it's an aero bike.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's cheap, they've like profiled the forks and the rear stays. So like they made like a high end version of it, and it's like a lower end, and it rides awesome. It's just like, again, but like when you look at like a late 70s, early 80s, like some of the cheap bikes are still so much better than what a low end bike is today.
Right.
You know, they're still like handmade in the Peugeot factory. Like in France. So Centurion is an e-bike company now in Germany. They probably sold the name, I'm guessing.
Yeah, the name still exists.
Yeah, like Schwinn. Schwinn is nothing now. There's no relation to Rally. There's no relation to a modern Rally to the actual British company Rally. So. Oh, Rock said back in Japan for a month, 96 degrees today. Huh. I know Japan has winters, so it must just the south of Japan is really warm, or does the ocean keep? What's the Pacific? I don't know a lot. I don't know enough about Japan to comment on their seasons, but I feel like it's a 4-season place.
It's very comparable to where we're at.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why
it's been
like
hot here until the last couple weeks.
Right.
So yeah.
it's actually almost the same. That's why a lot of that stuff is invasive over here. Like
Oh yeah, they're bugs. Bohemian Rhapsody. I just picked up a 1984 Schwinn World Sport. Yeah, I used a 1986 Schwinn World Sport as when I was only riding like my vintage road bikes as my winter bike for a while, and then I built that up as Erin's first bike. So that's the first bike she did bike packing on, all the trails and everything. She still has it. Doesn't really ride it anymore. When she got the Surly Pacer, that was just a much nicer road bike. But yeah, so. But World Sports, I've noticed from the different years, you can't be like, oh, it's a World Sport. They were different at different points in time. Like hers is a 4130 chromoly frame, pretty decent. Index shifting, but top tube, which I thought was interesting that they used top tube shifters that were indexed, and it shifts great. The index shifting on the rear works awesome. I think the front is friction. I don't think back then you'd index the front top tube shifter. Did they ever index the front shifting when it was just a lever? I'm not sure. I've never had a bike like that. I think the front usually was friction on those kind of bikes. Anyways. That BMX bike is garbage. It's a Tony Hawk model. But I can't believe he put his name on something so garbage. I sold a what's going on? I can't move the chat. It froze. Are we still here?
says we are.
Yeah. Weird. The chat got all wonky. Not enough memory to open this page? What the fuck does that mean? Oh, what the hell?
That's got to be a computer. And everything's working fine over here.
Oh, we're back. All right, I got everything back. I was able to reload it. Let me know if everything keeps working. No. Give me a second, dudes. Don't think I'll be able to pull up chats anymore, but... Oh, there we go. It seemed like it's stuck, even though that happened. Where are we? Oh, there. I got it. Yeah. Race BMX bike. Yeah. So I sold a friend a bike for his son, and they're like, we have this other old bike. Do you want it? His old bike, and it's that thing is the heaviest bike. Have you picked up that? On your way out, pick up that bike. It is. I can't believe for something so small. It's like it's full of lead. Literally. You won't believe it. That's a DUI BMX. No racing going on there for sure. Love the term strong light. Yeah. Yeah, French. What? Yeah, TA and strong light. Yeah, all that French stuff. I actually have a specialty tool to pull those kind of cranks because I thought I was going to keep going in the French stuff forever. So. That's how I have such a problem. Oh yeah, I can't pull. Let's see if I can get the chat overlay going back here again. Give me a second. I think I can. Oh, it worked. Cool. Yeah, I still have a hard time. I look at Craigslist and I dude, don't buy another road bike. Don't buy another vintage road bike. You have a wall of them that you barely ride right now.
They're so cool though.
Yeah, no, they look so. They're I think we were talking. Was it last week on the stream we were talking about this? This is my favorite look. Thin tube, classic triangle is the best looking bike. There's just nothing better. Yeah.
You can't just buy anything though. You gotta I don't know how to describe it. Not anything with a story, right? But you gotta look up the history. You gotta know what your vintage bike is.
Yeah. I still know vintage road bikes better than modern bikes, even after doing the stream for 4 years. I'll see because David Geller posted in the YouTube thing a Bianchi that someone was selling, and I looked at it. I'm like, Yeah, Bianchi's the one Italian brand that made some garbage bikes, and that's not garbage. Like it would ride great, but he was asking the value, and it's like $80 tops.
Right.
You know, like fix it up, do everything. It's going to be worth less than what you just put into it. But if someone's going to fix it themselves and ride it, it's
Right.
probably a great bike. But I looked and I saw sheet metal stamp dropouts, top tube shifters, suicide brake levers. You know, it's like, oh, it's not worth anything. Like really, you know, which is unfortunate, but just the way it is. Come on, let's get some focus here. Don't F with me. Peugeot's like the problem with Peugeot's, if you're going to try and modernize them, or any French bikes up to a certain year, is all the standards are different. The seat post is a different size, the stem is a different size, uh, the bottom bracket is different threading. But some people like, I'll hear people say like, oh, Peugeot are trash, and it's like they were just the biggest bike brand in France. They're just like Raleigh, who made top of the line race bikes, and then also made really cheap commercial bikes. Peugeot was the same. They made handmade race bikes that, you know, people won the Tour de France on, and they made bikes that were cheap, you know. And again, I do think like some of those UO8s and stuff like that are pretty cheap, you know, cotter cranks and all that stuff that you don't want to deal with. But like I said, like a couple of my low end Peugeots are pretty decent bikes to ride around on. Like I've got like, you know, over 4,000 miles on that one as well. So they run the gamut. Most of the big bike brands, you can't say, oh, I don't like it, because they made bad bikes and they made good bikes. So what's up, Benjamin? Yeah, Bohemian Trap City just said it. Old French bikes are complicated because of incompatible parts. So yeah, if you're going to keep them more original, they're fine. Super vintage French bikes don't even have the notch in the rear to make a modern derailleur stay in place. So you have to either file one in or do a modification. So yeah, if you're going to keep them vintage, no issue. If you're going to try and modernize them, pain in the ass. That's where my Chaton sits half finished. So the derailleur hangers aren't even threaded for what's the main French group set that made nice ones? Not Hire. That was a French component group set, but the anyways, the way the derailleurs worked, Simplex derailleurs worked with like kind of a pinch bolt, so the hangers aren't even threaded. So I had a friend actually tap out but they're the same size hole, which is nice. So you could tap them out. But yeah, French bikes could be a real pain in the ass if you want to do anything to upgrade them. But now there's stuff that makes it a little easier. Velo Orange sells a lot of stuff. Bottom brackets that are what do they call that? Compression, so they don't need to thread into there. I've never tried to mess with one. Phil Wood makes those too, but if you're trying to mess with old French stuff, Velo Orange is going to help you out a lot. Problem Solvers has some stuff, which is a QBP brand. Anyways. Yeah, and man, vintage mountain bikes had their moment, like really huge, 2 to 5 years ago. Like people were spending way too much on like not even nice ones. Like just as long as they had a cool paint job, like the lower end specialized ones. We were just talking about brands making a whole run of the mill bike, you know. And I got this on a lucky thing. Friend of the channel gave me a bunch of 90s mountain bike stuff, and one just happened to be that 1989 Team Stump Jumper. So like specialized, you know, more top of the line tubing build that would have come with way better components. But you know, a lot of the Hard Rock I think is the lowest. You know,
Yes.
Stump Jumper, Rock Hopper.
Hard Rock being the bottom.
Yeah, Hard Rock. But people are paying way too much just for the cool paint jobs, which again, nothing wrong with that. Like for cool paint jobs, but those were not great, you know, bikes and low end components, and they had such a moment that people were just snapping up. Just on eBay, like looking at the price of any Specialized was insane there for a little while, and some people are still trying to get top dollar for them, but I think that's tapering off a bit now. So
I'm looking at a Ritchie mountain bike, $2,500.
Ritchie mountain bike for 25. Which one?
It doesn't say.
Huh.
I think it's somebody that doesn't know what they have.
Yeah. That's why I scored a good deal on my Marin. It's just a gold bike, but it's nicer tubing than almost any of those bikes that we're going for. So it's a gold paint job, but it's like super lightweight bike and really, really nice. But the guy listed it with no size, like almost no information.
Right.
So I just scored a great deal on a bike that's better than most of those other 90s mountain bikes out there, but American made, you know. So Racer said Univega did make good stuff. Interesting. Univega had better bikes in Europe in the 90s, and they're Dutch. Okay.
According to Wikipedia.
Yeah. Not according to Wikipedia. What did they say? Univega's what?
What did I say earlier? Japanese?
Japanese. Yeah, Kermit the Fraud. Yeah, definitely don't go French if you're just trying to do a simple like upgrade to like do a Neo retro build. Definitely get a British, American, or Japanese bike because those will all be like super easy to put modern stuff into, or depends on how modern you want to go. But the guy always say go 9-speed Shimano. It still looks cool. Looks cool. Has all the function. I think some of it works better than some of the modern stuff in a certain way. You've hit 5 rabbits this year? Yeah, we see all the deer and I see all the animals. I just never hit them. I mean, you guys see my videos. We're riding through the woods on Bike Pass, so. Bianchi Arrows, yeah. I really do feel like, well, Pinarello made some bikes that were more affordable, but they never went, like Bianchi made true bike boom bikes that were just as cheap as the French Peugeots and Rallies and stuff like that. I don't feel like many of the other Italian brands ever made cheap bikes. Like Calnago has never made a bike that any Calnago you see, if it's under a few $100, buy it. You know, like someone doesn't know what they have. But that's why you never see it like that, because anyone who bought a Calnago knows they bought a Calnago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so. Yeah, Racer. That's the problem you're going to run into with a triathlon bike for sure. So. Patty said I had a 1989 Univega mountain bike from Target. It was heavy as fuck, but you loved it until it got stolen. Yeah. Michigan Biker said, I'm not going to say Japanese pronunciation, can be hot AF. Yeah, Lotus made some really nice bikes, didn't they? Yeah, they made like tri-bikes and stuff like that as well.
Lotus was nice.
Yeah, I kind of forgot it. Lotus is like an early into carbon as well, I believe. Kind of like the lugged look I have over there. I think they did that kind of thing as well, if I remember correctly. Even early aluminum, right? Yeah, a lot of Lotus was like a techie road bike company. So. What do you prefer for 80s to 90s bikes, Trek or Specialized? By the 90s, I wouldn't be a fan of Trek anymore, to be honest. They were already, man, by the mid-90s, they were becoming a pretty shitty company. No offense. Hashtag cop bikes. Yeah, I mean, I have an 01 Trek and the 2007 Trek. I mean, Trek and Specialized are kind of going down the same path, right? Being pretty corporate companies, but yeah, I guess I don't know. 80s, I'd go Specialized for mountain bikes, Trek for road bikes, maybe. I don't know. They're not that different. Money talks, wood pusher endowing a BMX bike. Yeah, Tony Hawk's not a BMX guy, so yeah. I don't know who really made it, but it's. And I don't know what a good BMX bike feels like because I've never been a BMXer, but I guarantee it's not that. So. Rock Eastwood. Weird fact: Tony Hawk's son and Kurt Cobain's daughter got a kid together. I don't know why I'm typing this. Yeah, Simplex. Mike, that's what I was going for. Trying to think of what my buddy Schwinn Predator, Pete, who was the guitar player in our band, had a Schwinn Predator, and I remember that having a super cool paint job. That was BMX stuff, but I don't know if it was any good. Wow. Oh wow, Bianchi that bad? That's like a free spirit. Well, again, Bianchi still made absolutely amazing bikes. They just were one of the companies that made every kind of bike. And I'm assuming what they were doing, the bikes they were making in Italy out of Columbus tubing and all that stuff with, Campy, were their good bikes, and then they were probably just having, more mass-produced bikes made in Taiwan by the, I would say probably not until the 90s, maybe late 80s, but well, I mean, Trap City, like Kaunago, who I already talked about. But yeah, there's no cheap Kaunagos, as far as I know. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they ever made a bike that wasn't made out of high quality stuff and spec'd with high quality components. So. If you buy a vintage bike, you better like to look at it, not actually use it every day. I definitely bought my bikes to ride, and then I just slowed down on riding the vintage stuff. So they made a soft rock and an elevator music one too. Back to Specialized. Get it?
I don't remember Specialized road bikes.
LA has always been, I mean, it's been through a million different iterations, even into the carbon, like aluminum lug carbon, but Specialized LA was like their kind of like flagship road bike.
Because it was, I mean, maybe just being the bike, not being into road bikes at the time, but
yeah,
without a doubt, Specialized mountain bikes.
Yeah. I just feel like they're way more known for their mountain bikes, but there was a lot of people who really did like their road bikes. I don't know any of the other. Allez is the name that's been around the longest, or Allez, as some people will call it. Allez, for anyone who doesn't read the French. But William Trap City, I don't do a lot of real mountain biking, but 26-inch vintage frames are still a unique experience. Yeah, I just find that they're so low and they're long. They're just like weird. Like, to try and mess around with them, you really have to. I just find there's always a lot of seat post exposed in the days before droppers when there's no need to have a lot of seat post exposed. Maybe so you could bail. They also came with those super long stems. They're just such a weird. Yeah. But again, like I said, my own one Trek is still like very 90s geometry, but I've got it kind of dialed. My Marin never quite fit right, and the stump jumper is cool, but I made it like a super specialty bike with the Velo Orange utility bar, so it's kind of something I ride to photography gigs when I want my certain bag strapped to the handlebars. It just looks cool, you know. And I set it up all vintage, so it's 8-speed. It's got the components from the era, so. Mushroom said I bought a 1994 Barracuda mountain bike at the reused store for $14. Back in the day, that was a hot bike. Yeah, I'm not familiar with them. I'll say I said I like French Fit. Yeah. Also, I don't know. What's the main dude? The website,
Sheldon Brown.
Sheldon Brown. They talk a lot about French bikes, how they were designed to be able to ride over rough roads and stuff like that. So they have a unique feeling and fit. I don't know how true that is, but like cobbles and all that stuff. But yeah. Oh, I do follow Boom Boom Bike Racer. They specialize in 90s mountain bikes. I feel like if you get a really big mountain bike and you're not that tall, you could, like 90s mountain bike, you could really dial them in the best, you know. Me being really tall, I don't feel like I've had a ton of luck ever dialing one in totally right, you know, because they're just small bikes. Even the big ones are small, you know, if that makes sense. Small wheels, you know. I Pathless pedaled even though he's not that tall. Russ, he did the 650B conversion, so going up a tire size, which kind of makes sense to me. I just feel like 26-inch wheels are slow. I know people debate wheel size
They
not
just
being
look
slow.
goofy. At this point, they look silly.
They look weird, especially when you put tri-spoke carbon wheels on them, which is the best thing ever. But we need to wrap up. It's almost 11 o'clock, so I'm going to try and blast through some of these. Lotus still makes nice bikes using their lightweight carbonite. Huh. Also seen in the race car. Oh, I didn't know that Lotus was actually the Lotus. So, because like Peugeot and stuff, they split from the actual car brand a long, long time ago. And I think Bridgestone, same thing. So, can I explain the resurgence of the Panasonic Dart and the smoke tire set? I can't because I've never heard of that. Kana said, trying to fix up an old Motobacan and realized all the problems. Yeah, so the frames aren't, so none of the French bike frames are for 27. They made them so that if you rode them in Europe, you would ride them with 700C. The problem is they would put different brakes on them. So the 27-inch to 700C conversion is something we talk about all the time. It's something I do to almost all of my vintage road bikes. I think the Peugeot is still running on 27 inches. But so basically, you just need brakes that reach the rims, and it'll work just fine. So, yeah, none of the bikes are really designed, none of the French bikes are really designed around 27. It's just 27 was the standard for non-race bikes in the U.S., so they just put them on there. And so they didn't always use brakes that would reach down to 700C wheels. So it's still doable. What do I like from bikes from the Zeros? Nothing.
I can't think of anything.
That is like a Zeros to early teens are ugly, ugly bikes, man. The logos are ugly. The graphics are ugly. It's an in-between phase between mountain bikes getting like really good and capable. It's that ugly, like when you see like like when babies are like 2.5 or 1.5, they're just fucking gross. Like I don't know how old babies. I don't have babies. But it's like when their head gets big and they can kind of walk and they're ugly. That's like, yeah, nothing in the Zeros that would really strike my fancy. Probably, yeah, even into the early teens. Plus those Zero bike, the road bikes have no clearance for anything. It was that era where everything got so skinny for the road bikes, so they're just not something I would really, yeah. Even this 07 could only fit 28s, and that's not even the worst of them. So it could probably fit 28s because it's not an expensive one. What's up, Dennis? Yeah, for sure. Do you have any preference between V-brakes and center poles? I mean, we always say, like, if you're talking about cantilevers look way cooler. V-brakes are way easier to set up. So.
Yeah, but cantilevers look cooler.
Cantilevers are always going to look cooler. Center pole is different. I believe you're saying V-brakes versus center pole. Center pole are road bike brakes, and you don't really call them cantilevers. Two different things, right? I do have center pole brakes on the Roger Riviera and stuff. They just look like, but they don't look any different, really. Except that you have the cable coming down the center, which I guess is kind of cool, but they still look like caliper brakes. So. Oh yeah, Bianchi got into mountain bikes too. I forgot. They pretty much did everything. I'd be interested in reading that history why, as an Italian brand, they kind of went really broad, whereas like the other brands didn't. Probably with Kawanago, just because Ernesto Kawanago was a frame builder, so just a totally different thing. I think Bianchi originally was, but they're just a much earlier brand. Kawanago only really starts in the 70s, whereas Bianchi, I think, is like a 1920s, maybe even 1890s. I mean, they really old brand. So probably already went corporate by like some point. Anyways.
Nerd.
Yeah. Turned out I know some things.
I'm trying. Is it? I'm gonna say Massey.
Oh, Mazzi, yeah, Massey, however you pronounce it.
That was pretty huge in the aughts.
Yeah, they still make bikes now, and their bikes are still cool looking. I think they've gone a little. I mean, you could get affordable ones now, but they were the same back in the day. Like kind of Kawanago, everything was pretty dialed, pretty expensive. Oh yeah, specialized bikes: Roubaix, Allais, Tarmac. Yeah, Tarmac's a little later, right? Though that's more their endurance road bike. All right, we got to wrap this up. Barracudas came with that god-awful ZZYX dual crown fork. Oh, man, too bad this isn't early because I'd look all this stuff up, but drop it in the Discord. '90s Santa Cruz Stigma would be a dream own. Yeah. Santa Cruz they just got bought and like lumped into one of the big conglomerates within the last couple years. Yeah, Schwinn was like the Kodak of the bike world, where they made everything to their own standard. Real dicks. All right, let's wrap it up, guys. Next week, just chatted with him on Instagram. I know he was in the chat last week. Bike Breath, check out his YouTube channel. We're going to do a guest. Start getting back into those. It'll be, next week we'll do that, but then I'll be off for a little bit of traveling and stuff like that. Like I said, Nutmeg. So, but going into the fall and winter, I want to do more of that. Chat with some of the channel members again. We haven't done that for a while. So even if it's remote, patch you in, as Aaron would say. So, yeah, Huffy was my first little BMX bike too. All right, though. So, yep. No real plans to relay to you guys because I don't know what's coming up next besides that live stream next week. So, yeah, check out his channel and then bring any questions their channel. That's boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. I never know what their relationship statuses are, but yeah, we'll chat with them. They do a lot of riding like we do, but up in Canada. So, all right.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is our
Fitzwater photo.